Yeah, I am.
Now, which one, the men, which one was the blind one?
Blind one? Adam's not on here. I didn't
Oh,
do
okay.
an Adam yet. I guess I could.
No, that's all right. It's
I could take this one and, say he's
Change
Adam,
it
but
from
I just have these two. Sometimes I'll pair them up with similar prints in their clothing, and that's why their dresses match up with their shirts. But this was Laura's first job, although she wasn't quilting, but her first job was basting shirts and making handmade buttonholes that she absolutely hated to do.
hated button. Well, I don't guess they had buttonhole makers back then, did they?
No, they didn't. Oh,
I think a buttonhole must have been a hard thing to do.
It was, but she learned how to do them in 60 seconds flat. She could do 60 buttonholes in an hour because she just hated so much to do them.
And the post office.
Yes,
Now,
we've got the-
was the post office not in,
Well, Grace, in the series, Grace just has a little corner. Now, sometimes the post offices were established as a corner in the general store.
right, that's what I was going to say. I was generally
Yeah,
expecting
somebody's got some stuff down here.
that was part. Now, in the Waltons, the post office is in Ike Godsey's store, right?
Right, because everybody would navigate to the general
To the
store.
general
It was, yeah.
But in this particular one, it was by itself as a part of the bank, right?
I've got them both together.
Of course, a lot of
because
that's poetic
well,
license.
The thing is, for DeSmet, when they moved from Walnut Grove to DeSmet, there was nobody out there on the prairie. They were literally the first family that stayed as a permanent resident, not just miners and railroaders and people that would come in and go out. But the post office, I think one of the post office and the bank was kind of like right next door to each other, so I incorporated both in the same box.
Yeah, well,
So.
this is a traveling exhibit.
Yes, this actually works. This is a set of scales, and there's the weights down here at the bottom. They range in 4, 3, 2, 1, so any combination. So you have the big 150-pound sacks, or you can buy any of the food, I put real food in there. You can buy any of the food at a pound if you wanted to. I put the hardware on one side and the software on the other. And these are just little dictionaries. And they are readable. I scraped off the dorky looking covers, but with the magnifying glasses, you can actually read this dictionary. And these little Bibles that are all over the place, they have
Right.
the entire New Testament inside. The print is that small, but you can read it because of, yeah.
Oh, you have a magnifier with it.
The dictionaries came with little magnifiers,
Yeah.
but the little New Testaments didn't. They're supposed to be, I think, Christmas tree ornaments or something. So, but I try to have. Shoot, these weren't supposed to be in here on the floor either. This is a coffee grinder. You can see the grinding mechanism down there, and there's one here too that we got pineapple in. So these are the old Holly Hobby style pencil sharpeners, and I don't know what kind of a spinning wheel this is. I have no name for it, but Tam said it's not missing any parts. So anyway, it's just odds and ends that I would find at yard
Now,
sales.
is Tammy into this the replica business too?
No, not really. Let me see if I can stick these up here behind her. She isn't, but she'll bring out a point. Now she'll say, "Now, Mom, remember that the covered wagon cover, Pa used that as the first roof. So don't make sure that you have,
Well, I've been watching that since last year. You told me about that canvas. I've been watching that, and they did have a canvas roofs.
Yes, exactly. Remember when I was fussing and I couldn't find it? I think that's around page 100. Student outdoors. Remember when I couldn't find that one picture I wanted to show you? Here he is.
Oh, yeah, that's the canvas roof. Apparently,
That's the wagon cover. And by the time you take all of this canvas off and you pull the inside, the puckered parts that they would draw up into a little ring,
Right.
this canvas will cover that roof. She said, "Don't forget, Mom." No, don't. So, and I've got two bear because Ma and Laura had a run-in with a bear and Pa had a run-in with a bear in the same.
I saw the one where, who was it the bear got a hold of? Was it Mr. Edwards?
Oh, really?
I believe the bear got a hold of Mr. Edwards and
Okay.
tore him up.
Well, we've got the well cover because that's how they positively identified the property that now belongs to the Bill Curtis family, retired Admiral William Curtis.
Oh.
And Bill Curtis's son, that was one of those commentators or hosts of 60
Yeah, I know,
60
yeah.
Minutes. They own the property. And that's what now contains 23 oil wells. The surrounding property around Little House on the Prairie right here.
23 arrow.
Oil is discovered in Independence, Kansas. Eventually, there will be 23 oil wells on the land that once surrounded the Little House on the Prairie. They dealt with debt, poverty, and everything, all, you know, and here they were sitting on liquid gold.
That's incredible.
Isn't that amazing?
Oil is discovered in Independence, Kansas.
That's up the road a little bit.
Eventually, there will be 23 oil wells
On the
in
land.
land that once surrounded the Little House on the Prairie.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
It certainly is.
So, now Megan has got a set of, oh, look at this mosquito. Let me get this thing out. What? Let me get it thrown out here. There, he's gone. He's loose.
So now, do you have the entire series of books that were written?
Yeah, that's these right here.
Okay.
And then other people have gone and done research for her mother's story, her grandmother's, and her great-grandmother's, Martha in Scotland.
Wow.
And Tanya had gotten me all these books. And then, of course, there's these here, the hardbacks, too. And then William Anderson has biographied her, and also there's a story here about Mary. So that's why we know about a lot of hers. But there's a guidebook and a songbook. There is, let me see if I can find it real quick. In this one or that one, I'm not sure which one quickly. The quilt pattern that's on the upstairs, I found it and I didn't realize it, but it's sewn in one of their little quilts. But it's this one, sorry. This is Half Pint. There's Laura, 4'11".
So she was a half
She
pint.
was always tiny little, even in her little bit of a heels.
Now this is the writer?
This is Laura. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
She's at a book signing in a library.
1951, that's when I was born. That means that's 60 years ago.
All right, now she passed away in 57 at the age of 90. She
Wow.
had diabetes. This is the rock house that their daughter Rose had built for them.
Really?
And I've been through this one, and it's beautiful. It's a 30s look.
Now Rose.
Rose is the only living child that Lauren Amonzo had.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's what I wanted to do.
Now, was that girl able to see? Did that girl see?
Oh, yes. She was a war correspondent at the beginning of the war, of the Vietnam War.
Really?
Truly, yeah. Yeah, and she passed away in 68, so it had to be real early on.
Yeah, it would have been.
Okay, somewhere in here. There's my sewing machine. This one here. See, this is called the Grandmother's Fan quilt pattern.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, but there's a Grandmother's Fan quilt pattern on those beds over there. That was just purely coincidental. That was not,
on the beds. Yeah, I see you. On the beds.
Yeah, that wasn't planned at all. So, here's you have the rope bed and the chamber pot underneath.
Yeah.
And then that's where I hid the clothes. But this was purely accidental. I was just looking for little tiny quilt pattern pieces of material. And it was just funny though, Norm. See the dishes up in that general store? It exactly matches the material right here. If I can pull this out without knocking something over, those dishes, the pattern on those dishes matches this material. So I got the 2 chunks that I could find. And that was accidental too. So, anyway, I'm just...
You know, you've turned this almost into a Christian ministry, haven't you?
Well, I think somewhere I have to kind of hunt. There's a Bible in every single one of them. That's got an old sample of the Bible, but the rest of them, yeah, I've tried. Oh, I meant to bring my glue gun. We've got some places